It has often been said that to get people off alcohol, we should take them into a liver ward and show them exactly what alcohol can do to you. And I agree with that. And it's something I'm working on at the moment to try and get into the NHS and do some educational stuff for this, because I'm going to go through what happened to me. And people are so in liver ward, and people are so in hospital in general. I was admitted in 2019 with, I didn't know what I had, basically. I had the ascites fluid, turned out, and spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. I had a massive stomach, been drinking for months without any food, and I've had previous issues with alcohol. Stop, start, I've been off for 8 years, back on the drink, all this sort of thing. Lots of relapses. But getting back to the hospital, I got 999 to hospital after I was basically told by one of my friends I looked absolutely dreadful. I've got about 9 stone. So what happened was, I ended up in the hospital. I didn't know what's wrong with me. They took me to the acute medical ward, and it was there that I'd been about 2 days, I think, and I was withdrawing from alcohol. I said, I need some pills, I need something. Didn't give me any, well, not that I know of, but I noticed they put me on some sort of drip. So I said, what's this drip for? Oh, don't worry about that, it's just some saline, get some fluid into you, that sort of thing. Anyway, lots of blood tests. And about 3 o'clock in the morning on day 3, this doctor came in and he said, I'm going to take some of the fluid off your stomach. I knew there was something in there, but it was rock hard, so I didn't know. I thought it was a bit of a beer belly, but it turns out it was a ascites fluid. Anyway, he came in and he said, I'm going to just numb part of your abdomen on the left-hand side. And he got this huge needle, it's quite a thin needle. And I would say it's about 18 inches long, maybe less, 12, 14 inches long. And on the end of it was like a catheter bag, you know, a fluid bag type thing. So you put this needle in, attach this bag and all that sort of thing. And he said, that'll be in there for about 8 hours. 8 hours? I thought, what's all that about? Anyway, I spoke to the male nurse after, because the doctor's so busy, they haven't got much time to explain things. And he said this ascites fluid's got to come off, because it's, when your liver's damaged, it can't perform its normal tasks. So you have to have this fluid drained off. And 8 hours later, sure enough, 26 litres of fluid came off, which is 26 kilograms in weight. No one had problems walking and sleeping and performing generally and just living. And I found out later, 2 weeks later, when I got the letter of discharge, that I had spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, which is a very dangerous infection in the peritoneum. I was discharged from there, and then I went to a specialist liver hospital a few weeks later, and I was taken in again. This liver hospital is called the Freeman Hospital. It's one of 7 transplant specialists, really, in the UK. And they put me on this liver ward, and they were just assessing me, and I had to take some more fluid off. I looked around the room and I saw some really bad states. I mean, I was down to 9 stone, I looked terrible. There were people who were in there that were yellow, completely yellow. Another guy who was much younger than me, in his 20s. His face wasn't yellow, but his eyes were yellow. All down to alcohol and what happens when you drink too much. So I was in there for a while, and then they said I've got low sodium, but they still took some more fluid off. And about 8 o'clock that night, I felt really poorly. And they'd just done a shift change. The nurse on duty came on and said, look, I don't feel well. I noticed my speech started to slur very badly. I said, can you get the doctor back? And so most of the doctors are busy at the moment. Change over time, all that sort of thing. I'll try and get somebody. But about 10 o'clock, no doctor appeared. I was still pressing the bell and all that. The nurses were coming up, what's wrong? Oh, don't feel well, you'll be fine, try and get some rest. Usual thing. Anyway, so I'll get somebody to sit with you. And the next thing I knew, I woke up, there's 4 doctors there and 2 porters by the bed. They said they're going to take me to ICU, intensive care. because my sodium level had dropped so much. I had tonic-clonic seizures, and so they rushed me down to this ICU and 4 o'clock in the morning, I think it was. Saw the surgeon getting kitted up, and he inserted a long needle through here. God knows how long that was, a long thin thing. And I was in ICU for about 3 days to try and get the sodium level up, because it had gone to a critical level where I would have gone into a coma. Came out of there, went back to the ward again. It was during COVID, all this, and we had to be isolated, some of us. They put me in this ward on my own. I thought, this is nice and quiet, put the TV on and all that sort of thing. And then they brought another chap in who had had a liver transplant. And he, to me, looked pretty well. But while I was in there, I got to know him quite well. And he'd been working on motor yachts, these luxury motor yachts abroad. And he drank. He was in his 30s. And he was post-transplant. He was transplanted about 6 weeks, or longer than that maybe. He'd had to come into hospital because he had more complications. And I remember one day the doctor came in, 2 doctors actually, and pulled the curtain round. I could hear them mumbling away. I didn't know what exactly was said. They pulled the curtains back and he was distraught. Apparently the new liver he had developed some sort of ulcer, which was quite large. The body basically rejected the new liver, and he was going to either need an emergency operation or even a second liver transplant. I don't know what happened to him. He was moved to a specialist unit after that. These are all things happening in the first few weeks of what happened to me. Then I met another couple of people who were in hospital system with me, because you bump into the same sort of people all the time. I was in and out, you see, every couple of weeks. One of them was a teacher, and he drank again. I found out later he passed away. He was only 38. And at that point, obviously, I couldn't drink. I knew I just couldn't drink ever again. And throughout my time in and out of hospital, there's 5 major hospitals in the northeast. I had bed and breakfast, as it were, in every single one. And I spent 5 weeks in a hospital just to try and recuperate. I was still very low on sodium, so doing blood tests every day. My arms were so thin, just completely bruised with them taking blood tests. It was a constant battle to stay alive. And a lot of people in the wards I saw didn't stay alive. The young men and women, you know, in the other wards. It wasn't mixed with it. I knew of women who died in there as well. And there was one particular day when we moved us to a ward where there was 6 of us, or maybe 4 in the bay. And there was a guy opposite me, I got to know him quite well, over a weekend. And he wasn't allowed to go home over the weekend to see his family. So his family came in, and I had a chat with them. And so he's got this bowel problem caused by alcohol. And on the Monday morning, I noticed a lot of the sort of top doctors came in, a bit older, a bit professors and all that. I had a bit chat with them. And I knew of his wife by then, his daughter, because she was a policewoman. I'd been in the police in London, so I had a bit chat with them. And her husband, that sort of thing. Anyway, they took him down to the theatre about 10 o'clock. In hospitals, there's a whiteboard behind you with all your details on. John Smith, how you want to be called. Johnny, whatever. And that wasn't his name, I can't remember his name. And I knew it was going to be nip and tuck, this operation. I knew it was going to be a big one. But you could just tell by the amount of staff who were around and the intensity of the activity around them, really. And about 20 minutes later, the nurse came in, very quickly wrote all the details off the whiteboard. And I said to her, what's happened to him? Oh, he's fine. He's just gone to, he's still in operating theatre. I thought he's only been away 20 minutes. Anyway, he died apparently, because I found out it was from his wife later. He died as soon as I started operating on him. His body was too weak to fight the operation, even to take the anaesthetic, you know. So in the time I was in hospital over that 2-year period, I saw quite a lot of people die. I got to know them. And people were in wheelchairs, had all this fluid that I had, and it's a horrendous sight. People will say, oh, I'll just keep drinking, I'll just die in the future. It's a long, well, it can be a long, hard thing to deal with alcohol-related disease, because it doesn't always just happen. Liver failure doesn't just happen. It's not like a heart attack. It's over a period of time. Cirrhosis develops over years and years, and other complications develop over years and years. So if you have any doubt at all about whether you should stop drinking, that's it. You need to get yourself a bit of common sense here and realise that if you don't stop drinking, you're going to die early. If you don't die early, you're going to live a long, painful, disabling life until you eventually pass away. And not many people reach 60 who are alcohol dependent. Just think about it. It's a horrendous illness. Alcohol is too widely available. And we're suffering in the UK more than any other country in the world at the moment. Various things are causing alcoholism, but it's on the increase. There's more and more people dying of it. And last year was the highest alcohol-related death figures ever. So be warned. If you need any help, get in touch with me. If you benefit from the channel, please subscribe and share with as many people as possible, because I've done this just over a year now. And although I've been a heavy drinker and I've been in trouble with a drink, in hospital, been ill, that sort of thing, I've recovered now. And the amount of people I speak to who have had problems within the family through alcohol is incredible. I don't think I've spoken to one family who doesn't know somebody who's had an issue. So get together, guys and girls, and let's fight this as a team, because it's hard to do it on your own. Any questions, drop me a line. I'll speak to you soon.